Hello everyone, good morning, good afternoon and good evening based on wherever you live. Welcome back to my channel. Today we will be continuing our Salesforce interview question series, and this is the part 2 video where I will be discussing objects and relationships. So let's get started. So first question here is, what is an object in Salesforce? This is simple, straightforward. Objects are database tables that allows us to store data specific to our organizations in Salesforce, right? Each object contain fields and relationships. Basically, if you want to store anything in Salesforce, then we use objects to store that, right? Second question is, what are all the different types of objects available in Salesforce? This is an important question specific to Salesforce. The answer is that there are two main types of objects available in Salesforce. They are standard objects, right? Standard objects are nothing but the objects which is given by Salesforce. As you all know, Salesforce have a CRM, and it is having Sales Cloud, Service Cloud, and all the different modules. So Salesforce created some functionality already in it, right? So to create that functionality, Salesforce also needs to create some objects. So these are the objects created by Salesforce. Those are nothing but standard objects, right? The example of those standard objects are leads, accounts, contacts, opportunities, products, campaigns, and cases. And next one is a custom object. The objects created by us. Like, for example, if you want to create some objects to enhance or to to include some more functionality on top of Salesforce functionality, then we have to create some more objects, right? So all those objects are called as custom objects. And the difference between them is, these objects basically ends with underscore C, right? If you see in my example, invoice underscore C, this object is created by us. Employee underscore C, right? Payroll underscore C. So to differentiate the standard objects and custom objects, Salesforce has given this, even though you don't write anything, automatically while saving, Salesforce creates this underscore C, right? You don't have to enter underscore C while giving the name. You just give the name as invoice, and Salesforce automatically appends this underscore C suffix, right? And note that all custom objects ends with underscore C. So while these two are two main types of objects, like standard objects and custom objects, but over the period of, Salesforce has come up with some new functionality, and they end up creating some different objects. You don't have to focus on that right now. As and when you mature, you get experience in Salesforce, you know, but those things. But for now, your main focus should be on standard objects and custom objects, right? If interviewer asks you if there are any other objects apart from these standard objects and custom objects, then you can answer this, right? So there are other types like platform events. Salesforce has created recently platform events, okay, which ends with underscore E. Okay, E is nothing but events. And external objects ends with underscore X. If we have Salesforce Connect, if you use that, then if we create some objects that ends with underscore X. So don't get confused. Don't worry about these two types right now. Just focus on custom objects and standard objects. Custom objects doesn't end with anything. If the name is lead, then the object name is also lead. In custom objects, if we create object name as invoice, then the API name of that object name becomes invoice underscore C. Okay, keep it simple. So the next one is, what are the different fields or data types available in Salesforce, right? So when we are creating some fields, we should also create what type of field it is, right? Whether it should be a text field or an integer field or date field, etc., right? So those are different types, data types. So let's see what are the different data types available in Salesforce. So the different data types available in Salesforce are auto number. Basically, these are, you can configure it and then say start the numbers beginning with 100, right? So whenever you create a new record, it starts with 100 and then 101, 102, 103, and so on. So automatically the number increases as and when you create a new record. And the next one is checkbox. It's straightforward. Currency, if you want to store some dollar value, date time, email, geolocation. Geolocation will have latitude and longitudes This is also really important, when we work in real time. We sometimes should have geolocations as well. So this is also one of the important data type. Number, percentage, and phone, pick list values, pick list, multi-select pick list, right? So if we want to select multiple values at a time, then we use multi-select pick list values. And we have text. This is straightforward. And we have text area, we have text area long, we have text area rich. So based on your requirement, you can use whatever text field you want, okay? And then we have text encrypted as well. If you want to save some encrypted data, then we can use this text encrypted. Cool. And the last one is time. Okay, we have URL as well. So if you want to display the URL like website of a customer, then you can use this URL, right? And this is the page where you can select while creating the fields. You will get this page. Here you have to select whether you want to create the field as a checkbox, currency, date, time, email, whatnot. Okay. Let's go on to the next question. What are the different data types a standard record name field can have? Okay. So this question might be a little bit confusing, but let me explain you. What happens is whenever we create a custom object, we should at least create one field. Okay, that is the reason I have given that standard record name field. Why I have given the name as standard record name field? Because whatever you create the field, whatever name you give, the API name will always become name. Okay, so that's the reason we call it as standard record name field. So what I was saying is whenever you create a custom object, you should at least create one field to complete the object creation. Otherwise, you will not be able to create the object itself without creating this one default field. Okay. So my question here is what data type we can use to create that field. Okay. So let's see. The answer is standard field record name can have a data type of either auto number or text field with a limit of 80 characters. Apart from these two, we cannot create any other data types for the standard field. Okay, so we have only two options. Whether you can make it as an auto number, it will create it will generate auto numbers. Let's say, for example, I want to create an object called invoice, right? So I can give the auto number name, auto number configuration as INV-001, right? So the first number will be INV-001, and then if we create second record, automatically system generates the second number called INV-002, INV-003, and so on. Users don't have to do that. But if you want the user to enter some value, then you can give it as a text as well. Okay. In that case, auto numbers will not be generated, right? So users can enter some text as that field name. Okay. So if you see this, when I'm creating a job application object, I've got an option to create. Sorry, when I'm creating a job application, I've got a default field to create job application name, and the data type options I'm having only text field and auto number field. I have to select any one in between these two. Okay. The next question is what is an external ID in Salesforce and which field type supports external ID? Just now we have discussed so many field types, but there is an option in Salesforce that we can create external IDs. Okay. So, but all those data types which we have discussed are not supported for external IDs, right? Only few of them are supported. So what are those types of data types which supports external ID? Okay. So an external ID field is a custom field that has an external ID attribute. Okay. There is an option to select it's an external ID, then automatically it becomes external ID field. Okay. Meaning that it contains a unique record identifier from the system outside the Salesforce. See, we have Salesforce IDs, right? Which is automatically generated from Salesforce. But let's say, for example, I am loading some data into Salesforce from some completely different system. Let's say I am loading the data from an accounting system, and they have all unique invoice numbers, right? So I can create an external ID field, and then I can store those external IDs into that field, and I can use that external ID also to data load, right? So we can discuss this in future videos in data load, but external ID fields are really useful when we are loading the data from external objects and we don't have any Salesforce ID associated. Then that time we can use external ID. Okay. So this is really important, and says external ID is also very important in terms of global search, right? Many people don't know this, but if you want some field to be available in the global search, then you should use this external. You should make that field as an external ID. What is global search? If you open the Salesforce, you have a top bar, search bar at the top, right? So if you want something to be searched from there and it should be available, which is a custom field, then you can make it an external ID, right? So by default, Salesforce has given this search option for the default Salesforce fields. But if ever you want to use any custom field searchable, then you should mark it as external ID as well. Okay, really important. It is used mainly to while importing the data, as I said, and only the following numbers field supports. Like external ID can support only text, number, email, and auto number field. You cannot have a pick list and then mark it as external ID. Okay. Okay, so now in this screenshot, if you could see, data type is text, and as soon as you select data type as text, you will have an option called external ID. Okay, set this field as a unique record identifier for an external system, right? If you want to change the data type, you can simply change field type and change as well. But let me show you another example for pick list wherein you will not get this option at all. Okay, so the data type, this time I have selected pick list value, and now I don't see any external ID option selection over here. Okay. Next question is, what are the different relationships available in Salesforce? This is really, really important. This is heart of, Salesforce. If you don't understand this topic, repeat this 100 times, okay, until you get the good understanding of this relationship, how relationship works in Salesforce. Okay, so there are 4 different relationships available in Salesforce out of the box given by Salesforce. The first one is master detail, which is one to many, nothing but one record of object A can be associated to many records of object B. Okay, I've seen people doing a lot of mistakes or giving wrong answers when we ask what is one to many. They say one object is associated to many objects. Okay, that is wrong. Actually, master detail one to many means one record of object A is associated with multiple other records of object B. Let's say example is accounts and contacts, right? One record of account can have 3 to 4 contacts. So that is nothing but one to many. Okay. So the next one is lookup relationship. Again, it is one to many. We'll go into the details and differences of these two in some time. The third one is hierarchical relationship. It is only available for user object. Okay. If you go and see, you will not find this hierarchical relationship in anywhere for any other object. The fourth one is external lookup relationships, right? If you are using external relationship, we can create external lookup relationships as well. You don't have to worry about it right now. As I said, when you get some experience in Salesforce and you start doing integrations and all those things, you understand what is external lookup relationship, right? It's okay to say that you have not worked on external lookup relationship if ever someone asks you in the interview in the initial stages, not as an experienced person. So these are all one to many relationship. Like you can see lookup relationship, master detail relationship, and external lookup relationship if you open this page. And for user only, you will get hierarchical relationship. Okay. So apart from those, we can also create few more relationships on Salesforce. So whatever we have discussed just now were just given by Salesforce out of the box, right? But there are few more situations we have to take care as we develop or implement our requirements, right? So many to many relationships. Sometimes we have a requirement wherein we have to fulfill this many to many relationship. What do you mean by many to many relationship? let's say one record of object A should be associated with multiple records of object B, and vice versa. Means one record of object B should also be associated with multiple records. Okay, I can give you a best example like student and course, right? One student can enroll into multiple courses, and one course can have multiple students, right? So in those situation, we can use junction object and create relationships. Okay, so that is nothing but many to many relationship. And one to one relationship, sometimes this is required, right? uh, like I want to have one record from object A to be associated to only one record to of object B. Okay, that kind of relationship we can create. We can discuss this as well in detail, but yeah, this is to associate one record of object A to one record of object B. Self relationship, if I want to look up to the same object, then I can create this self relationship. So if you see the pictorial form of this one opportunity is associated to one sales order, right? So I want to restrict users to not to create more than one sales order for an opportunity. So that time, I can go ahead and create one-to-one relationship. Okay. And one account can be associated to multiple contacts. That is nothing but one-to-many relationship. And many students can take many other courses, right? Like example, one student can take many courses, and one course can have many students. Okay. Yeah. So these are the three different options we have. And going next, we have what is master detail relationships. Let's go and dig deeper into master detail relationship. Okay. So master detail relationship is a parent-child relationship between two objects in Salesforce, right? And it is tightly coupled relationship. What do you mean by tightly coupled relationship, right? So both parent and child have very tight relationship if we create master detail relationship. So when a master record is deleted, then a related detail record also gets automatically deleted. Example, if I have an account and then it is having 3 contacts, okay? I'll not give this example, account and contacts, even though account and contacts have master detail relationship, but if you delete an account, contacts will not be deleted. Just go ahead and try this one, okay? Let me give another example. If I have, if I have an employee and then it is having pay slips, child record as pay slip record, right? If I go ahead and delete employee, then all his pay slips will automatically get deleted. Okay. So that is nothing but, tightly coupled relationships. And the detail record automatically inherits the sharing and security settings of master record. So whatever the security we have provided for master will automatically be inherited by the child. Okay. Even the sharing of data. Okay. If you're not aware of sharing of data right now, just watch this video on sharing and security, and then come back and revisit this one. So if sharing in the sense sharing of data, right? Whatever data is shared to a user, the child object will automatically be shared to that user, because these two objects are having master detail relationship. Okay. The next one is master field is mandatory on detail record page. So what does this mean is when you go and create a pay slip, okay, in my pay slip and employee example, when you go ahead and create a pay slip record, it will give a mandatory record asking to which employee I should associate this record, right? Until and unless I give which employee I should associate, it will not allow me to even create the child record, right? So it is mandatory for master detail relationship. Okay. And we can create up to 2 master detail relationships in an object. And the next important point for master detail relationship again is the owner field in detail objects or the child object is not available. Okay, just go ahead and open two objects wherein they have master detail relationship. You can see the owner field will be available on the master, but you will not see the owner field available for the child. Okay. Custom objects which are child in master detail relationship cannot have sharing rules. As I said, you cannot create a separate sharing rules for child object. You create the sharing rule for master, automatically the same sharing rule will apply to the child as well, right? Even manual sharing same things. And queues, you cannot create the queues for the child record, as these require the owner field. Okay, these are nitty-gritties of this master detail. You should good to know this one, right? It will be easier if you know all these things when you're working. The next point is we can define master detail relationship between two custom objects or between standard object and custom objects, right? So the combination, we can have master, we can have two custom objects for master detail relationship, and we can have a combination of standard object as well as custom object to make the master detail relationship. But see what else we have, important point. However, the standard object cannot be the child object, right? You should always make standard object as a parent, and the child object should always be custom object if you're taking the combination of standard and custom object. Okay, really important. Also, we cannot create a master detail relationship in which the user or lead objects are masters. Okay, try these things. Go ahead, try to create a master detail relationship with one other object with user. You will not be able to, you will not get that option itself, right? And try to do the same thing for lead. You will not be able to create, you will not be able to make masters as users and lead. Okay. The next question is what is lookup relationship? Okay, when you have seen master details, you have to see the lookup as well and identify what are the differences between these two, right? So it is a parent-child relationship, exactly same like master detail between the two objects in Salesforce, right? It is loosely coupled. Okay, just concentrate here. Earlier master detail was tightly coupled, but this is loosely coupled. What does this mean? Okay, it means when we delete the parent record, the child record will not be deleted. Okay, so if I have two objects, parent and child, then if I delete the parent object, and I don't want to delete the child object. Okay, let's say for example, I have student and course, right? I'm deleting student, course should not be deleted, right? Or I could say student and routes. Route means the sense bus route for a university, or right. So if I'm deleting a student, I should not delete the route, or I should not delete the course, because that course can be used by someone else as well, right? So you cannot if you are in that situation, then you can use parent or lookup relationship. Okay, child sharing rule is not dependent on the parent. Okay, it can have its own sharing rules. So you can give separate sharing rule for parent in this case, and you can give separate sharing rules for child if it is a lookup relationship. Really important. Okay, and parent field is not mandatory on child record. As I said, when you create a child record, even though it will give an option to look up to a parent, but it will not stop you. You can create this child independent of the parent. Okay, that is the reason it is a loosely coupled relationship. Okay, and then you can create up to 25 lookup relationships of an object. Next question is, what are many-to-many relationships, right? Even though this is not out of the box provided by Salesforce, but we can create many-to-many relationship using junction object, right? So we can use master detail relationship to model the many-to-many relationship between any two objects. Okay, a many-to-many relationship allows each record of one object to be linked to multiple records from another object and vice versa. My best example for this is student and courses. One student can be enrolled into multiple courses, and one course can have multiple students. Okay, that time normal master detail or lookup relationship will not work. You have to create a junction object. Okay, many-to-many relationships. Okay, you can create many-to-many relationship using a junction object. There is a concept called junction object in Salesforce. You create the junction object and connect these two objects, so that will automatically become many-to-many relationship. Okay, say student and courses. If you could see, many sign is there, here also many. Many students can be associated into many courses. I mean to say, one student can have many courses and one course can have many students, right? There is nothing but many to many relationship. What is a junction object? You know that, okay, we have to create a junction object to create a many to many relationship, but what exactly the junction object is, right? So a junction object is a custom object in between two objects for which we have to create many to many relationship. Okay, let's go ahead and see. So to create many to many relationship, simply create a custom junction object. Go ahead and first create a custom junction object and create two master detail relationship from that junction object to two object for which you want to create many to many relationships. Okay, let me explain you by giving an example. So this is my student and this is my course. Okay, you have created one object called student and you have created another object called course. Now what you have to do, if you want to make these two many to many relationship, you have to create a third object. Okay, generally we give the naming convention as a student course junction or student course. Okay, if you give just student course, people who are experienced, they know that, okay, this is the junction between student and course. Or sometimes people give naming convention as student course junction. Okay, it's your wish, or whatever your company's naming conventions, use that naming convention. Okay, but for practice you can do anything, either you write student course or student course junction. So you create a third object. Third object doesn't have anything except it have two object relationship. You don't have to create any fields except the default field which we have to create for every object, right? So we have student object, you have course object, and you have the third object called student course, and it doesn't have so far anything. Okay, now we have to create lookup relationship, master detail relationship from student course to student, and I have to create another master detail relationship from student course to course. Okay, what is hierarchical relationship, right? As I said, hierarchical relationship are available only on user object. So it is a special relationship on user object. You will not see hierarchical relationship in any other object. Go ahead and check. Okay, it creates a hierarchical lookup relationship between user object. Okay, so let's say, for example, if I have to create my manager on the user, right? For example, we want to identify employees manager. What I can do is I can create a lookup on the user record and again give a lookup to the user record only, user object only, so that, you know, because users are also employees are also users and managers are also users, right? So it allows users to look up field to associate one user with another user record. Okay, example, it can be used in a situation where we need to associate manager, okay, to the users where manager is also another user. So basically, just to create the hierarchy or maybe look up for the same object of user, we create this hierarchical relationship. Okay, like user, and it is looking up to the user itself. Cool. Next question is, what is external lookup relationship? Okay, this you don't have to worry if you're not getting this, but yeah, if you are an experienced administrator or developer or consultant, just go a little bit deeper, but there's no harm if you don't answer this question. You will not be failed if you don't answer this question. So it is another new type of relationship introduced with Salesforce Connect, right? This relationship can be linked to an external object. If I'm creating an external object in Salesforce, okay, so if you want to know what is external object, then it's a bigger topic, you know, in integrations, right? For example, I can create a virtual copy of an object which is available in any external system like SAP or Oracle, and then can show it in Salesforce. Okay, physically the data will not be stored in Salesforce, but it shows you know, the data here in Salesforce. It's like a virtual table. Okay, and then we can create that external lookup relationship and use a lookup relationship when an external data includes a column that identifies related Salesforce records by their 18 character IDs, right? Use an external lookup relationship when parent is an external object. If the parent is an external object, then use external lookup relationship. Use indirect lookup relationship when external data doesn't include Salesforce IDs. Okay, if that object doesn't have Salesforce IDs, then use indirect lookup relationship. Okay. Next question is, what is one-to-one relationship? As I said, for this one record of an opportunity should be associated with only one record of sales order. That time you have to use one-to-one relationship. Okay. It is used when we want to restrict the user to create only one child record for a parent record. So Salesforce doesn't stop this. You can create multiple child records for a parent, but there is a way we can restrict. Okay, it's not a separate relationship we are creating, but there is a way we have to restrict. Okay, so only one parent will have one child record. Cool. How can we achieve one-to-one relationship? One-to-one relationship can be achieved in two ways, right? One is with configuration. You can just do the configuration and achieve it. And other way is using trigger. Okay, whichever is easy for you. Okay, if you're a developer wants to try this, use a trigger. Okay, if you're an admin or a consultant, you want to try this, just use a configuration. I have given both the methods over here. Okay. Method one, let's say you want to create one-to-one relationship between account and contact, then follow these steps. What do you have to do? Step one, create a custom field on contact. Okay, contact. Just remember, contact means child record. On a child object, create one custom field. Okay, and name it as parent ID and mark it as unique. Okay, and then step two, create a workflow. You can either create workflow as well as you can use process builders or flows, whatever you want. Right, create a workflow field update on contact and update the parent ID. Okay, field with account ID. If the first record, it will create the child record, but it will create the second record, then it will fail as the account ID is unique and is repeating for the second time. So what happens is when you create the first record, the ID of account will go and store in the parent ID of contact. Okay. Now I'm trying to create the same. I'm trying to create another record for the same parent, right? But I have marked this as a unique. So the second time, if you try to create the record and that workflow runs and try to insert that unique ID of the parent one more time, that time it will stop and give you an error saying that, okay, this parent ID is unique. You can't do anything. Okay. This is the first method. The second method, let's say you want to create one-to-one relationship, accounts and contacts, then follow up these steps. Okay. Create a field as a roll-up summary field on account object. Okay. And name it as contact count. Okay. And use the count function while creating the roll-up summary. If you know roll-up summary, just go ahead and create a roll-up summary and then do this. Create a trigger on contact object and check the roll-up summary field which we created, that is contact count field. And if count is greater than 0, then throw an error which says account cannot have more than one contact record, right? So you have both methods, whichever you want, just go ahead and try. If you have any better method, just add it in the comments. What is the self relationship or self lookup? Okay, so this is straightforward, very simple. If you want to look up to the same object, like how we have a hierarchical relationship for user, if you want to do something for custom objects or any other objects, you can create a lookup and just look it up to the same object. Okay, so self relationship or self lookup is a lookup relationship we create on the same object. Go ahead and try. Let's say we want to create multiple accounts of the same company and we want treat one account to be parent. Basically this has been already given. If you go and see open an account, you will have a parent ID called relationship, right? You can give multiple parents. You can give the lookup to the parent account. Okay, but you can go ahead and try it for the custom objects. For the rest of the accounts, of the same company, then we can create self relationship on the account object, and one account as a parent account and rest of the account as the child record account. Let's say, for example, I have a company called ABC, right? And I have three different branches, ABC1, ABC2, and ABC3, and I want to give the parent as ABC. Then you can form this using the self lookup relationship. Okay, go ahead and try on some other object, but account Salesforce says automatically, you will find that this relationship automatically available by default. Okay, out of the box account, and then self looking up to the account. How do we create relationship fields, or from which object we create relationship fields? So basically this might not be an interview question, but this is really important for you to remember. When you're really new in Salesforce, right, you struggle. You created two objects. You created a parent object, you created child object, right? Now you want to create a relationship. You struggle. Okay, where should I go ahead and create this relationship field? Should I go ahead and create this relationship from parent, or should I go ahead and create this relationship from child, right? So initial days you get a lot of confusion. Okay, so just thumb rule, always relationship gets created from child object. Okay, first identify which is parent object and which is child object for a particular requirements, and we should always create relationship from the child objects. Okay, so in the beginning people go and create relationship from from parent object. Okay, and then when they try to do it, they realize, okay, I have done a mistake. Then what they'll do, they'll go and delete that relationship and then go to the child object and then create the relationship again. Okay, so why do all those things? Just remember a thumb rule: whenever you have to create a relationship, you have to always go ahead and create that object relationship field from the child object. Okay, straightforward. Can we create lookup relationship on an object which already have existing data? Okay, so let's say, for example, I have two objects which I have created for maybe my release one. Okay, and I've uh, I've deployed it to production, and my users started using it. They've started entering data into those two objects. And for my second release, I've got a requirement that, okay, please make these two objects parent and child. Can we do that? That is what the exact question here. Okay, the answer is yes. Okay, we can go ahead and create a lookup relationship even if the data is already there. Okay, that is not a problem. But another question is, can we convert a lookup relationship to master detail relationship? So now in my third release, I've got a requirement saying, okay, whatever you created a relationship, lookup relationship, we feel that it should be a master detail. Can you do that for our release 3? Then what? Okay, the answer is yes. Okay, we can convert the lookup relationship to master detail relationship, but we have to do some tweaks here. We cannot convert the lookup relationship to master detail relationship only if all the existing records should be populated. We can convert the lookup relationship to master detail relationship only if all the existing records should be populated with the value in parent field. Basically, I'm sure you remember, just some time back I have explained you that uh, for lookup relationship, it's not mandatory to have a parent, right? You can create a standalone child record as well without associating it with parent, right? So what happens if in my existing data, right, in release 2 I've created a lookup relationship. So maybe there are few child records which doesn't have any parent, that might exist, right? But if I want to convert it to my master detail, then it will throw an error saying that, okay, there are few records which doesn't have any master. Okay, so what we have to do, we have to identify what are all the childs which doesn't have which doesn't have an associated master record, okay, a parent record. So first populate all those childs with some parent record. Okay, and then you can convert it to a master detail relationship. Try this one, okay, and let me know how it goes in the comments. Can we create a master detail relationship on an object which already have existing data? Okay, so again, this is the similar question, but can we do that? So the answer is yes. but it's not straightforward. I've just explained you what we have to do for that. Okay. First, we have to create a lookup relationship, then populate the values of the parent value on all the record, and then convert the relationship to the master detail relationship. So whatever I've explained just before this question, the same answer to this as well. Okay. But interviewers might ask you in different ways. So be ready to answer in whatever questions they have asked. Next question is what happens to the child records when a parent record is deleted? Okay. What happens to a child records when parent is deleted? In master detail relationship, when a parent record is deleted, then child record automatically get deleted. Okay. This we have already discussed, right? As I said, be ready for any type of questions. So this is in another way they will ask. It is called as cascade delete, right? And for lookup relationship, even if the parent record is deleted, child record will not be deleted. Okay. What is the roll-up summary? And which type of relationship supports roll-up summary? Roll-up summary is nothing but, rolling up the data from child and show the data on parent. Okay. Let me give an example. Let's say, for example, you are student. Okay. And you have written test. Right. I have an object called student and I have an object called test or exam. Right. So in first record in exam, you have got some marks, and second record you have some other marks, and third record you have got some other marks. You want to roll up the sum of all the marks what you have and show it into the student record, right? How much marks you got. So in those scenarios, we can use a roll-up summary. Okay. So this roll-up summary is supported only by master detail. Okay. If it is a master detail relationship, then only you can create roll-up summary. If it is a lookup relationship, you cannot create a roll-up summary. Okay. You will not get the out-of-the-box roll-up summary option itself. So our roll-up summary field calculates values from related records. Okay. Related in the sense child records, such as those in a related list. All right. So we can create a roll-up summary field to display a value in the master record based on the values in the field record. As I said, if you have marks in the 3 records, I want to show the total of those marks. I can roll up. Okay. Make the sum of it and then show it on the parent record, right? Similarly, I want to show how many subjects you have written. So I can roll up, there are 3 records. So that time I can use count function and show that, okay, there are 3 records, 3 subjects or 3 exams you have written. Okay. So we perform count, we can perform count, we can perform sum, we can perform minimum value and maximum value of fields in the detail records. Okay. So if you go and if you have master detail relationship, you will see this roll up enabled. Okay. And then you can go ahead and create the roll up summary field. A roll up summary field option is disabled in one of the objects. What is the reason? Okay. Sometimes you go and try to create roll up summary. You see that roll up summary field is disabled. Okay. Either those objects have a lookup relationship with other objects, or it does not have any relationship with other objects. Okay. Mean to say it does not have master detail relationship. Either it can have a roll up relationship or it doesn't have any relationship. That is the reason you will see a disabled option there when you try to create a roll up. Okay. A roll up summary field can be created only on master object in the master detail relationship. See, when you see few records which is having lookup relationship and which doesn't have any relationship, you go and try to create roll up, you will see this disabled option. Okay. The next question is, can we create a roll up summary or mimic roll up summary functionality on a lookup relationship, right? See, these are, indirect questions. Interviewer will try to confuse you. Okay, fine. I have a master detail relationship, but I have created a roll up summary, but now I have only lookup relationship and I cannot convert it to a master detail, but I still need the functionality of roll up. Okay. I'll try to confuse you. Don't get confused. Just give this answer. We cannot create. Okay. The straightforward answer is we cannot create because there is no out of the box option available to create roll-up summaries if it is a lookup relationship. But there is an option. Okay, what is that option? We have to do some custom code, right? So we cannot create roll-up summary on lookup relationship, but yes, we can mimic the roll-up summary functionality on lookup using triggers. If you're a developer, if you have this and you have no other choice to create a roll-ups, then you can go ahead and still create using the triggers. Okay. We may have to write much code to mimic rollup, lot of code, right? So this was always prefers to have config rather than code, right? So try to avoid this one. But if you still, got this requirement, hard and fast requirement, if you are not able to push back, then what you can do is simply go ahead and, there are a few free or paid app exchange products which mimics the rollup summary on lookup relationship. Okay. So you just have to install it and automatically do some configuration settings, and then automatically roll up. Even if you have roll up relationship, you can still show the lookup from the child objects. You can still do that. Okay. Next question is, can we use a standard object as a child object in master detail relationship? I have already explained this before. So no, the standard object should always be a master in the master detail relationship. Okay. What are lookup filters? This is important. Lookup filters basically are used on master detail, lookup relationships, and hierarchical relationships to filter out the data, right? It improves the user productivity and quality of data. Example, restrict an account name field on opportunities to allow only accounts with record type of customer, filtering out the competitors and partners. Example, just open an opportunity, try to search an account. What will happen? A list of accounts comes up, right? So in that list of account, when you try to search from opportunity, you don't want to show all the accounts. Okay. Let's say you want to just show only the customers. Okay. That too, you have to show only the active customers. Okay. Then you can use lookup filters, and whenever the user trying to search an account from opportunity to look it up, they will only see the list of active customers with record type is equals to customers. Okay. It will not show the competitors and partners. Okay. Restrict the account name field on opportunities to allow only active accounts. How can you do that? Just go to that account relationship field or the opportunity and try to create the filters. Give the first filter criteria record type equals to customer, and second criteria active is equals to true. So what will happen when the user tries to search the accounts? It will only see the active customer records. It won't see any other. Try this one. This is also a really good feature. Okay. And what is recycle bin? This is again a general question. In Salesforce, as soon as a record is deleted in Salesforce, it goes to recycle bin. Okay. So as soon as we delete, it goes into recycle bin. It doesn't hard delete. Okay. It soft deletes. It places your record into a storage called a recycle bin. Okay. So if you want to undelete and get back those record, we can get it from the recycle bin. Okay. Deleted records will remain in recycle bin for 15 days. After that, it will be permanently deleted. So you can still see the record which you have deleted for 15 days. For example, by mistake, you have deleted one record and then you suddenly realize, oh, I should have not deleted, right? Your save, you still can go ahead and see your recycle bin, and then you can undelete it from there. Okay. You don't have to worry about it. But there is a note. There is a limit on recycle bin storage, right? If we bulk delete, let's say, for example, I'm deleting thousands of record, okay? And then I'm expecting that it should be available in my recycle bin. It may or it may not, okay? Based on how much data you have deleted and how much capacity of your recycle bin, right? So there is a limit on recycle bin storage. If you bulk delete records and if it exceeds the recycle bin storage limit, then it is permanently deleted. So whatever can be stored, it will store in recycle bin, and if it doesn't find any space in the recycle bin, then Salesforce permanently deletes that records. Okay, don't expect when you're doing bulk deletes, don't expect that it will be stored in Salesforce. Okay, so that's the reason frequently go and remove clear your recycle bin so that you have some space whenever you delete it by mistake, then you can still revert it back by going to recycle bin and undeleting it. Okay, recycle bin, if you go to the classic page, you will see recycle bin here in the home page. Till recently it was not available in Lightning, but Salesforce brought this feature in Lightning as well. If you click on this left icon and search recycle bin, you will see the recycle bin in Lightning mode as well. Okay, so with this, we are done with all the questions for objects and relationships. Okay, thanks for watching. I hope this video help you prepare for Salesforce interview questions and Salesforce interview and crack your next job. Okay, if you like this video, make sure you hit the like button and subscribe to my channel right now. That way, you don't miss out Salesforce interview questions and answers videos like this one, right? Just click on the subscribe button below this video. And if you want to read more Salesforce interview questions, you can read more interview questions in my blog as well. Go to this blog and then you will find all the interview questions.